What's up, guys? Atapark here, and today I wanted to kind of springboard off of the video that I did earlier this week on kind of encouraging raid leaders and guild leaders when a situation arises to take action. To not necessarily take the first action, but definitely not to wait until the last minute to weigh your options and go forth with a plan. Don't just sit by and passively wait. But one of the things that we had talked about during this video was the fact that one of my raiders, a long-term, very valued member of my raiding team, had decided, hey, here's the deal. I'm really getting burnt out with the Warlords of Draenor. I love raiding with you guys, but I have a lot of personal stuff going on. And that combined with 10, 11, 12 months of Hellfire Citadel is just too much for me. And instead of making me hate the game, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to stop raiding for a little bit. I'll wait till Legion comes out. And we'll pick it back up and we'll go from there. And I wanted to talk to you guys, the raiders, about this situation. Because it was a big step that this raider took. Coming to me and saying, hey, here's the deal. I'm burnt out and I want to take a break. And it's something that I see very often as a guild leader, as a raid leader, as somebody who's been raiding for a really long time. The amount of just in general turnover is high. And I wanted to kind of walk you guys through, the thought process that you should have. And as always, I want to give you guys some advice. So first and foremost, let me be very clear here on two distinct but very much in the same area ideas or thought processes. First and foremost is that if you find yourself in a situation where this game that we all love to play, at least, hopefully you're loving to play this game. If you find yourself in a situation where you are neglecting other areas of your life, or you find that you're not doing things that you'd rather do because you're raiding or you're PvPing or whatever your main hobby is, your main activity is in World of Warcraft. If you find that you're neglecting other areas, stop playing. Take a break. If you're getting burnt out, take a break. I encourage that. Most definitely, get your life back on track. Make sure everything is taken care of, because I would hate, and you would hate in the long run, for other areas of your life to be neglected and fall to the wayside. Relationships with friends and family members, and God forbid, kids and spouses, significant others, and just people that are important to you. So if you find yourself neglecting other areas, take a step back, most definitely. But with that, I am not encouraging you, and this is the second part. I'm not encouraging you guys to be fickle, to willy-nilly, take a break just because you're in a guild that isn't clearing content. And that's something that I've said many times here, is I don't encourage raiders at all to simply up and quit, whether it's a raiding guild in general or just playing the game altogether. I really encourage you guys, and I will continue to encourage you guys, to stick with your group. Now, obviously, barring any weird circumstances or situations where you have either outclassed your group or drama goes down, whatever. But if there's an honest, concerted effort to clear content, to do the activity that you want to do, stick with it. So with all that being said, you have decided that you fall rather into this first category. You're burnout. Something's being neglected. You need to take a break. What do? So if you are in a high-end raiding guild, if you are in a guild that is a top tier, we're talking, top, I would say, 100 guilds in the world, I have some bad news for you. And that is, more than likely, your spot's going to be immediately or relatively quickly replaced. This means that if you decide to come back, if you, a week later, 2 weeks later, you decide that you have made a bad decision or you're regretting your decision, your position within that group is probably going to be replaced. Now, will you be able to get that position back? That really comes down to the guild in general. I can't speak for all guilds. I would say if I were a guild leader or a raid leader in a top tier, we're talking a world first striving guild, you would have to earn the spot, and you would be considered like any other new recruit. Obviously, you'd still earn some respect and all these things, but you left your post. Sorry, it comes with the territory of being that top echelon, that 1% of player. However, if you're looking at a guild more similar to mine, where you are either, in my guild's case, we're clearing mythic content. If you're clearing heroic or normal content, if you're in a guild that isn't solely focused on getting record kills and instead is looking to foster a sense of community or fellowship or have fun or whatever the case might be, but a guild that is a little bit behind. Let's say the general population guilds. The guilds that most people are in. If you leave and you're looking to come back, in my guild, you have to earn that spot back. You have to show that you are able and willing to show up during the raid nights. This means that you are subject to the same attendance requirement as these other guys. But once you're back and you said, hey, I am able to raid again, I want to raid again, and we see that you're able to do so, you're fully reinstated. Again, it really comes down to guild policy. However your guild has set it up, whatever the rules and the regulations and all that good stuff are, is going to determine how, if possible, when and how you will be able to get back into the group with that guild. So what's the best way to go about it, right? Like you've made the decision, you're not spending enough time with someone, or, schoolwork's falling behind, or, whatever, you're staying up too late, whatever the case might be. How do you approach it? My best advice for this is, and most of this stuff should be relatively common sense. My best advice for approaching this situation is to be very honest, but respectful. I'm not saying, go up to your guild leader and kiss his ass and say, here's the deal. But most definitely, as soon as and you've made that decision, you need to speak with the guys in charge. Go up to your guild leader or your raid leader, whoever's the one that handles, some guilds, the raid leaders do all the work and the guild leader, doesn't do as much. Something like my guild where I am the raid leader and the guild leader, approach me and say, hey, here's the deal. I'm really having a hard time in school. I've been waking up late and getting to work late. My boss is on my ass. My husband, my wife, boyfriend, girlfriend are complaining I don't spend enough time with them. Whatever the case might be, come to me, pull me aside, say, hey, look, I need to talk to you. I pull you into vent, and you say, hey, here's the deal. Schoolwork's falling behind. I'm going to take a break, until, if say so. If you don't, say, I'm going to step away from raiding or PvPing or whatever for a bit. And be prepared to have your spot replaced. If you're respectful about it, and it goes back to this old adage of you don't want to burn your bridges. If you know that this is a temporary thing, if you know that you can balance stuff, but you need a little bit of time, or in the case of my friend who was the tank, who just simply said, look, I'm really burnt out. I'm tired of Hellfire Citadel. I want to come back during Legion. Going into it and going, look, I'm tired of playing with you guys. Fuck you guys. I'm out. You're not going to get your spot back. But if you're open and honest about it, that will almost guarantee in that general population guild that you're going to be able to get a spot back. Be prepared to answer the one question that almost everybody is going to ask when you come to them and say this, which is, how long do you plan on continuing to play? That's something that I asked my tank when he came to me and he said, hey, look, I'm going to take a break for a little bit. And the reason for this is it really determines how I handle this situation. If you come to me and you say, look, I'm taking a break effective tonight, see ya. One, don't do that. That's a dick move. But it tells me that I need to immediately drop everything that I'm doing, anything that's not higher priority, especially if you're in a very select role, you're a healer, you're a tank, I need to find someone to immediately replace you or start immediately recruiting for a spot to replace you. Preferably, you give your guild leadership a couple of weeks, possibly a month would be ideal. The longer, the better. And again, especially right now at the end of the expansion where recruitment is very difficult, and it's been difficult, at least on my server. But generally speaking, the longer an expansion or a rate tier is out, the harder it is to recruit, because either people are taking a break, they've already gotten into guilds that have progressed to a point where they are comfortable, or you are in a position where you have been through several guilds and you're just not happy. But that's a totally different discussion. But no, the longer you can give your guild leadership to find a replacement, the better. Be open to playing other roles, meaning that if you say, hey, look, I'm going to take a break. I just bought a WoW token. I'm going to play for this month, and then once this month is over with, once June hits, I'm going to take a break until Legion comes out. And a week later, your raid leader, your guild leader comes up to you and he says, look, dude, you were a healer. We found a healer to replace you. Would you mind DPSing? Be prepared for that. And if you're not willing to do so, be honest. Don't force yourself to do anything that you don't want to do, but at least give it some thought. Help the guild out. Again, it comes down to not wanting to burn bridges. This one, at least for me, I wouldn't hold too terribly against a person if they said, look, I don't know how to DPS, or I don't know how to heal, or, whatever. I don't know how to fill any other role because for all of Hellfire Citadel, I've done X. But the down and dirty version of this is try to give your guild leadership as much time as possible to find a replacement. Understand that you are giving up a raid spot, that we as guild leaders and raid leaders are going to actively replace you. So don't take it personal when you come back. If you come back, that we require you to go through some hoops to stick around with us. Because unfortunately, and this isn't meant maliciously, you've already walked away from us once. And I've had people that will do this, where they will come into the guild. There's several guys that I love them. They have been playing with the guild for 10 years now. And they will log on and they'll approach me, or they've approached previous guild leaders, when I was an officer, and they've said, look, I'd like to raid with you guys. And they'll play for 6 months, they'll play for 4 months, and then they walk away. So I'm just not having fun with this class, or, you guys are too far progressed, or, they just kind of fade away, and then they come back a year later and they do the same thing. And that's something that you don't want to do. But that is my advice to you guys. If you are considering taking a break from the game, if you need to take a break, do it. But if you're going to do it, do it the right way. Don't burn bridges unless you absolutely have to, because you never know what's going to happen in life, and you may find yourself wanting to raid again. You may find yourself in a position where you can raid again, and if you are happy with the group that you played with, by all means, go back to them. So with all that being said, hopefully you guys like what I'm saying here. If you do, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button. Both of those things tell me, I cannot tell you guys how much I love seeing likes and, that subscriber count slowly start to tick up. I log in the morning and I'm like, holy shit, that's a good feeling. So do both of those things. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, guys, I'll see ya.